Nail by Ian Jones and Andy Edwards. Episode 2, Frothy Coffee. Monday, April the 25th, 1938. Nail and Merv have arranged to meet in the new Italian cafe in the village. They are hoping that Howard will join them as they are planning to go and see Tommy, the Great War veteran who lives in an upturned boat alongside the River Ishmael. They are worried about his recent behaviour and are keen to persuade him to move into more suitable lodgings. Here I am, sitting with Merv in the window of the new Italian cafe in the village. The building used to be the dentist's house till a few months ago. John Morgan, Moggs the butcher they used to call him. He moved to Ishmael in January and opened a proper surgery. Fair play to him, aye, fair play. Bit over the top, don't you think, Nail? Says Merv. What is? I ask. This place, man. What do you on about, Merv? Well, Conti's Italian coffee house. Bit posh like, don't you think? I look up, but don't say anything. 3 generations of the Contis have lived in Wales. Came from Bardi in Italy to work in the mines, they did. Sergio emigrated over here to live with his auntie a few years back. He was in the Italian army in the war. Fought the Germans in the mountains. Don't go on about it, though. He worked the pigs with Glyn on Bulk Farm for a few years when he first come over. Then he married Ann Roberts from the village. Giving a cafe a go now they are. Fair play to them. Chwarae teg, as we say. Nicer than shovelling out pigs. Still, hard work, though. He stands behind the counter in a pristine white apron with a brill-creamed Cary Grant sheen to his hair, waiting patiently for the next ting-ting of the brass doorbell. He looks like a film star, I think to myself. We're just watching the world go by, we are. Waiting for Howard. He's late as ever. I look at the price list written in chalk on the wall above the coffee machine. Lovely handwriting, like a piece of art. Merv rubs his hand over the half bottle of Puss's rum secreted in his coat pocket and smiles to himself. Georgie, Sergio's dog, is curled up in his basket fast asleep, dead to the world. I look out towards the old oak. Over 200 years old, that tree, still standing proud and tall. Suddenly, a sheep runs past the window and hurtles up the alley to the horse field, like the big bad wolf has just turned up in town. Did you see that, Merv? Huh? What? See what? He says. The sheep, man, I say. Oh, never mind. We sit on the flimsy wooden chairs around a small rectangular table, and Merv drums out a rhythm with his fingernails. There's 3 big windows around the shop. It's a bit like being in a goldfish bowl. People nod or tip their hats as they go about their business. I'm not entirely sure which side of the glass I'm on. Am I looking in or am I looking out? Don't suppose it matters. Across the square, Bryn Fruit and Veg is brushing the front doorstep. Lulu, his delivery girl, is getting onto her bike. It's a good bike, yes. See that, Merv? What? Lulu and Bryn, man. He looks out of the window and shrugs his shoulders. What do you want to eat, Pongo? Pongo was Merv's nickname for anyone who'd been in the army. Frothy coffee and a bun, I reply. Aye, go on then, I'll have the same. Can't read that menu, writing's too small, I haven't got my glasses. He never got his glasses. Not sure he can read, to be honest. Never mentioned it though. Sergio brings over the coffees and buns and Frothy, says Merv, and puts 4 teaspoons of sugar into his coffee. He tears his bun in half and butters it thickly. 4 sugars, Merv, I say. Ah, he replies, and cutting down, he grins. We blow, sip, and slurp our frothy treats. The dog stirs and sniffs around the tables. He smelt the faggots I've got in my pocket, probably, and come over for a sniff. Hey, go on with you, I say, and give him a tap on the nose. He puts his tail between his legs and trudges back to his basket with his head bowed. Ting, ting, the bell rings over the door, and in walks Mr. Briggs, the shoemaker. Howdy do, he says. Nobody responds. He walks to the counter and orders a coffee and a pasty. I didn't know they did oggies, says Merv. You didn't tell me, Nail. I would have loved a pasty. Well, have one, Merv. I got a bun now, haven't I? We drink our coffee and Merv forces the second half of a heavily buttered bun into his mouth and chews it with his mouth wide open. He'd have a clip off my mother if she was here now. Only cattle eat with their mouths open, she says. Lovely, says Merv, and a currant drops from his open mouth onto the table. He picks it up and throws it to the dog. The currant lands right under the dog's nose. He sniffs at it, then closes his eyes. Not as appealing as a faggot. Fran and Lily, the undertaker's twins. Nobby the death. They walk past the window. Both expecting in June. 7 months gone. Flippin' Nora, they're bulking up, I say. Do you see the size of them, Merv? What? Says Merv. Oh, he's in a world of his own. The twins, man. Course I seen them. I'm not blind, man. Like sheep, man. Follow each other everywhere they do. Up the duff they are, the pair of them. Yes, says Briggs from the counter, where he is sitting on a stool, earwigging and eating his pasty with a knife and fork. I wonder if they know who the father is. What? Says Merv, looking over his shoulder. Is it the same father? Oh, don't be soft, man, Merv, I say. He folds his arms. They'll have to get married, says Briggs. Why's that then, Briggs, I say, and scowl at him. He doesn't answer. He knows I don't like him. I don't say any more. I've made my point. The doorbell rings again, and in walks Howard. Show my boys! Mr. Briggs, how do you do? He's mimicking him, he is. Howard orders a glass of warm water, then sits down with us and puts his paper parcel of cold cuts on the table. How's your tooth, Howard? I ask. Bloody killing me, Niall. Tooth, guts, wedding. Oh, hardly slept a wink. Mrs. Penderyn James, the vicar's wife, has followed Howard into the shop. Oh, 1 tea, please, Mr. Conti, she says. In a china cup, please. Oh, I didn't know you could have tea in here, says Merv. Thought it was a coffee shop. Why didn't you tell me you could have tea, Niall? I would prefer a cup of tea. Well, have one then, Merv, I say. I got coffee now, haven't I? I hear you gentlemen are off to see Tommy this morning, says Mrs. James approvingly. Well done, you. Very Christian. I do hope he listens to you. I look at the clock on the wall above the dog's basket as Mrs. Penderyn James takes a seat as far away from us as she can get. She faces the wall and waits for her tea. 11:15, I say. Howard takes out his watch. Yes, he says, 11:15. Getting married Saturday then, Mr. Thomas? Says Mr. Briggs to Howard. Haven't looked back since I got married. Wonderful institution. Two-faced beggar he is. Who the hell does he think he's kidding? We all know about his fancy woman in Carmarthen. You going to the market again tomorrow? Says Merv. Get more leather, is it? And we all laugh. Briggs puts his half-eaten pasty into his pocket, finishes his coffee, and walks to the door. Good day to you, gentlemen, he says, as he pulls at the door too. No one replies. Nice one, Merv, I say and laugh, and Merv unfolds his arms. Belongs in the brig, that gas bag, he says, then pauses. Ha! Brig's in the brig. Ha! Oh, I got to see the dentist, says Howard. I'm in agony. I can't even drink that water. My stomach is rolling. Rolling? Rolling like a coaster, says Merv. Nerves you got, Howard, that's your problem. The collie wobbles. Wedding and all that, you know. Maybe, says Howard, but I've got to get this tooth sorted or there'll be no wedding. I'll have to go and see Mog the butcher in Ishmael. We finish our coffees. I look at the clock. 5 to 11, I say. Howard takes out his watch. Yes, he says. 5 to the 11th. Sergio comes over and sits with us. Anything else I can get you before you go, buddy boys? No, thank you, Serge. We'll be off now. We're meeting Tommy at 11, I say. The 11th hour, says Howard. Good for you, boys, good for you, and good luck. We're on a jolly on Friday, Serge, says Merv. Howard's stag and that. Can you make it? Oh, I'll have to speak to Anne. Under the thumbs it, Serge, says Merv. And Sergio turns away. I don't think I'll make it on Friday, says Howard. Now don't be soft, Howard, I say. Everything will be fine by Friday, now don't you worry. We shuffle out into the square towards the park. Nobby comes out to the butcher's with a pack of sausages and liver wrapped up in paper. A spot of blood drips onto his shoe from the parcel. Ugh, I say. Girls are hungry, says Nobby. He smiles as he passes. You off to see Tommy? Aye, I say. Oh, good luck, boys. He's a stubborn old fool. Aye, I say. Just as we reach the park gates, a car pulls up. It's John Morgan, the dentist, Mog the butcher. He leans out of the window. Hello, gentlemen, how's it going? I hear you've been looking for me, Howard. Oh, God, good to see you, Mog, says Howard. I have, I. Think I've got a hole in my tooth or something. Quick as a flash, Moggs jumps out of his car, opens the boot for his medical bag. He orders Howard to sit down on the bench seat in the back of the car. Say ah, he says, and looks into Howard's mouth. Ooh, nasty, says Mog. He locks his forearm across Howard's chest and whips out a pair of dental pliers from his bag. Brace yourself, he says. This is going to smart a bit. And by God, he pulls out the tooth there and then, right in front of us. No messing. I've looked away. I don't like blood. Howard is in shock. Christ almighty, he shouts. Mog puts the bloody tooth into his hand, root and all. There you go then, he says. Sorted. See you Friday, gents. We'll push the boat out for you, Howard. Now put your hanky in that hole till it stops bleeding, then wash your mouth with salt water every couple of hours. You'll be right as rain by Saturday. Oh, the scene is surreal as the dentist jumps in his car and drives away honking his goodbyes. Howard stumbles off in shock with his yellowing and now blood-soaked handkerchief in his mouth. I'm going home to Edna, he mumbles forlornly. See you Friday, Merv and I shout in concert. Tommy is waiting on a bench alongside the path. Doesn't look so good. 20 years on and still got the war going on in his head. He's been on a bender for a few days and he's been neglecting himself again. He's dirty, scruffy, and smells of toilet. We sit next to him and tell him about what just happened to Howard, and he laughs till he cries. I wondered what was going on, he says through the tears. Merv starts up. When I was in the Navy, I seen a toothright do exactly the same thing to a bosun who was dripping too much, you know. We'd had a run ashore and he was listing badly, I tell you. Toothrite sorted him out on the spot. Didn't have any drips after that. What the hell are you talking about, Merv? What language are you speaking? Tommy laughs again and Merv folds his arms. The faggots come out and Tommy lights up. Merv pulls out his rum. No cold cuts though, still in Howard's pocket. Never mind. Up spirit, shippers, says Merv and offers a slug to Tommy. The fallen, says Tommy, and we toast the spirits of those long gone. Tommy's son Jimmy was killed in the German spring offensive in 1918. Only 18 he was. Splice the main brace, says Merv, and takes another slug. We've come to see Tommy to try and persuade him again to move back into Margaret Griffiths' shed. He was there over the winter after the snow, but as soon as it warmed up, he was back sleeping under his boat down by the river. A few of the boys have agreed to tidy up the shed, paint it and make it warm, you know. And the WI have got him some furniture and a bed from the old hospital. Tommy listens and smiles. The thing is, Neil, he says, that boat is my home. It's where I live, see. Don't want to live in a shed. I'm happy down there by the river. This isn't the first time we've tried to persuade Tommy to leave the boat, but he's having none of it. It's my haven, boys, where I belong, you know. Thank you for asking, but I'll stay put. We spend a few more minutes trying to cajole him, but he's having none of it. We finish the rum and watch two ducks waddle down the path and into the river. I'll be following them in after this, says Tommy. Good idea, I say. You could do with a wash. I know, he says. We say our goodbyes and Tommy walks off towards the river. Merv and I head back through the park. Had he lagged himself? Asks Merv. Think so, I say. Margaret's got a bag of clothes for him from the church jumble sale. I'll drop 'em down to him later. I fancy a quick one in the ship, says Merv. Good idea, skipper. Good idea.